right, please welcome to the drop wrestling superstar and celebrity puckhead CM Punk, where tonight he is at UBS Arena, home of the New York Islanders for AEW Dynamite. Punk, they fired Barry Trotz. What's up with that?
I don't know. It's something in the water here that makes people do weird, wacky, wild stuff. You wouldn't fire Barry Trotz. Take you guys out of the basement to 2 conference finals. I don't know what they're doing, but I am interviewing for the job. Thank you for asking.
Brilliant. So you in your career, along with aspirations to be a coach, you've been a babyface. You've been a heel in your career. In your estimation, Punk, who is the biggest heel right now in the National Hockey League?
Tom Wilson? It's always Tom Wilson.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Good choice.
It's always Tom Wilson. Gary Bettman is like a 1B in that 1A situation. I mean, every year he comes out to present the cup to the winner, and you can't hear what he's saying because everyone's booing the crap out of him. I think those are a good top two tag team bad guy heels.
Where do you stand on Brad Marchand of the Boston Bruins?
If I stood on Brad Marchand of the Boston Bruins, it would make me 7'2".
Now, he is infamous for having once licked an opponent. I wanted to ask you, sir, have you ever stooped to licking an opponent in the ring? And if not, why not?
Oh, man. The dirty things I could say. No, I've never licked an opponent. Brad Marchand, I know, grew up, I think, a big Bushwhackers fan. So, I mean, look at well, I mean, there's drawing a penalty, and then there's Brad Marchand trying to draw a penalty. You know what I mean? What a legend. What a freak.
Exactly.
He's doing. Kids, you're in peewees, you're in midgets playing hockey. That guy will do anything to win. Maybe don't follow his lead, but you can find some sort of a lesson in there.
All right, let's take it the other way. Who's the biggest babyface in the NHL right now?
Oh boy,
is there one?
That's a harder one. I mean, I think there is. I think by default, I would say like a Joe Thornton, guy who hasn't won the cup, has a 20+ year stellar career. And if I'm ever going to root for a Florida team, it's the one that Joe Thornton's on because I want to see him, raise the cup. He's a good choice. I think there's a lot of players that fit that mold, but I do definitely think there's more heels than there's babyface.
I would agree with that. Good. Joe's got a major approval rating in this league, I think, from players and fans. It's a good choice there. So you are a Blackhawks fan. You're from Chicago. How'd you get into the Blackhawks? I mean, was it just the Chicago thing, or was there another reason?
I definitely think it was a Chicago thing. I remember going to see games at the old Chicago Stadium and just being in awe of like what was going on. I think there were a lot of fights, and I know we're trying to get away from that as a culture. But there were more fights in the stands than there was on the ice, and that just intrigued me. It just seemed like a circus in the best possible way. Loudest arena I've ever been in my entire life, and it just kind of captured my young imagination. First monetary bet I ever made in my entire life was I think it was '92 Hawks Penguins in the finals. I bet a kid named Ryan Collins in my 5th grade class $5, and then the Hawks got swept. So I'm not a big fan of like the Mario Lemieux or the Ron Francises of the world. Still holding on to that grudge.
And rightfully so. Now, the Blackhawks are going through, let's call it a transitional phase for their franchise. Yes. What do you think happens to Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, man? Do you think that they see it all the way through and retire as Blackhawks? Do you think they might not be there until the end?
I think if you're a fan, there's a romantic aspect of saying these guys are Blackhawks their entire career. But I know the type of competitors they are. They want to win. And hockey is possibly the ultimate team sport, right? If I do believe if you're in football, if you have an outstanding quarterback and some great wide receivers, you can hold it down and make it to the Super Bowl. I think hockey is where, man, if you have a great goalie, but your blue line is lacking, you're not going to make it through the playoffs. It's the hardest, trophy to win in sports. So these guys want to be put in that position. They very much were the young guys coming into an older team that was going nowhere. And now they find themselves kind of the older guys on a team that currently is in the basement. So as a competitor, I know Jonathan Toews is like, we got to turn this thing around. I don't know how much time I have. And I kind of draw parallels to my career, like I'm 43 and I started wrestling again this year or last year. I don't know, 6, 8 months ago. And I look at it now like every day I'm so fortunate and it's a gift. And I want to do the best I possibly can in what I know is short time.
All right, speaking of championships real quick, do you have a Stanley Cup pick?
I do, but man, my bracket's already, I feel like it's shot. There's only one team out, and let's please round of applause for the Nashville Predators. Good job, guys. You really held off the Colorado Avalanche. No offense, this is the way things work. Y'all got to make fun of us when you swept us a couple years ago, and now, man, we're just pointing and laughing at you. Colorado's my pick, but man, I mentioned Joe Thornton earlier, and I'd really like to see him, hoist the cup. But there's other teams that I feel like are built to win, like Calgary. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. The Penguins are surprising me. The Kings are surprising me too.
Exactly. All right, the great CM Punk. Thank you for joining the drop, my friend.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.